Our Board of Governors mandated that we follow the minimum criteria for HEC, and therefore that is what we are following from June 2020 onwards. The first thing which you have to remember that to become an assistant professor, a PhD is a requirement. And for a first appointment as a lecturer in the academic department, an MPhil or 18 years of education or a foreign MS is required. Without these, neither can a person be promoted, nor can a person be appointed. So a PhD is required for all of these qualifications. You want to become an assistant professor, associate professor, or professor, you require a PhD. Normally, people who are in this rank, a lecturer with an MPhil, the moment they get their PhD, they are given the rank of associate professor, assistant professor, which in the next board meeting is confirmed. Now, these are the ranks. For a lecturer, you require MS, MPhil or equivalent from HEC recognized university to teach in the MPhil program. Normally, we say HEC recognized higher education institutes because there are certain institutes which also are degree awarding. No further promotion for non-PhD faculty. So they remain lecturers until they get a PhD degree. Assistant professors, a PhD is required. Only for medical, engineering, creative art, and law programs, HEC gives an exemption, but that is on case-to-case basis. No experience is required or publication. If you are a PhD, you can be appointed immediately as an assistant professor. Associate, you have to be, let me go see if I can go back. All right. Like in the first slide, we've said that for associate professor, experience in higher education institutes has to be 10 years, of which 4 are post-PhD. And for professor, 15 years teaching research experience or professional qualification, of which 8 years are post-PhD. I've highlighted these because for this promotion cycle, this requirement is not there, and it has been relaxed by HEC till March 31st, 2025. So you require 10 years experience after MPhil or 5 years post-PhD experience plus 10 research publications, of which at least 4 have been in the last 5 years. Now let's see if I can continue. So for associate professor, 4 years post-PhD are not required for this cycle. So you require 10 years teaching research experience or 5 years. Now, promotion requirements, faculty will be reviewed by the respective chair, dean, and standards committee in 4 basic areas: teaching, scholarly activities, efforts to improve as a teacher advisor, community service, and advising. Now, the 5 criteria of promotion are given: effectiveness of a person in teaching, evidence that they have undertaken specific steps during the last year to increase the effectiveness as a teacher or advisor, evidence of research scholarly activity, quality of their advising and other interaction with students outside the classroom, service to college and community, and use of English as a medium of instruction. This is covered by your VET, and it is also covered in question number 29 of your class evaluations. For applying for promotion, the process, other than professors, 2 petitions are to be submitted electronically by the petitioner. One petition goes directly to the chair of the department, who forwards it to the dean, and it goes to the vice rector office. The second petition goes directly to the vice rector's office. In other words, the form you are going to submit to the chair, just copy it to the vice rector office at the link which is given in the memo. For university process, if you are applying for the rank of professor, full professor, 2 petitions are submitted electronically. This is a 2-step process, not a 1-step. Petition soft copy to the chair of department, dean of faculty, and therefore to the vice rector office. Your role just finished there. And another copy directly to the vice rector office, and the vice rector office then submits it to externals for evaluation. Once we receive, or the vice rector office receives the report of the external assessment, and the institutional research office, that's the QEC, provides its feedback, and they go to the Academic Standards Committee. Now, what is the Academic Standards Committee? The Academic Standards Committee is a chartered body which is constituted under our charter of FCCU University, and its committee's functions is to review the performance of faculty members and make recommendations to the rector regarding promotion and rank or continued service for each faculty member. For promotion, technically, the promotion recommendation comes from the Academic Standards Committee. The Academic Standards Committee consists of the vice rector ex officio, 1 senior faculty member, either professor or associate professor from each of the different faculties, and these are renewed every 3 years. The quorum is 1/2 of the membership, and they are the ones which will review your portfolios. Now, what should the promotion portfolio include? An updated CV containing qualifications with duration of study and date of award of degrees, arranged in canonical order. Numbered list of publications, paper, books, chapters, etc., both in FCC as elsewhere, again arranged in canonical order. Note, proper citation is required. Spelling of the journal must be correct and should match this site. You can click on it, and it takes you to the HEC website, from where you can see whether your journal is listed or not and what is its ranking. You can either use this or use this service. Now, it is the responsibility to name verification of journal is correct in your submission. Then, item 3, you have a statement citing the evidence, listing contributions, addressing the 4 criteria. Effectiveness in teaching, that you've undertaken specific steps during the last year or the last period of contract to increase effectiveness as a teacher or advisor. That means attended workshops, attended CLT sessions, done some other work for external evidence of scholarly activity, documented, quality of advising and other directions with students outside the classroom, because inside the classroom would be in your faculty evaluations, and service to the college and wider community, and documentary evidence appropriately arranged, preferably tagged to these 4 areas and listed in the contents on page 1 of your submission. Kindly approach this as if you're applying for a first appointment. So you're applying for a first appointment, your resume or your should be in a format that is understandable to the person who's reading it. And it is the first appointment, but no interview there is required. So therefore, everything has to be clearly stated, documented, and supposed to be clear to the person who's reading it. Now, this is an example of how your publication list should look. Authors, 1, 2, 3. The publications, please just don't write Raza M. et al. All authors have to be mentioned. The years in the reverse canonical orders, reason being for associate, the committee would like to know how many publications were there in the last 4 years. And it is very difficult if you have it in alphabetic order to find whether you complete that requirement or not. What the publication was, title of the publication, title of journal, ISSN number, publisher, that means the web link, if you have it available, or the ISSN link, which tells us whether this is a valid journal or not, whether it is quoted in HEC journals, whether it is quoted in Web of Science or some other indexing agency. Country of publication and the rank as given in the Web of Science or in the HEC categories. For annual evaluation promotion, this is the format or what the Academic Integrity Committee looks at. Teaching effectiveness, student evaluations, self-evaluation, HUD evaluation, dean evaluation, course syllabus, whether it follows the guidelines given in by CLT, whether it follows the DFINC course, the course syllabus, quiz, test, midterm exam samples. You have not to give all exams you have taught in the last 2 years, for example. That would make, if you're teaching 7 courses, that would mean 14 exams. Just 1 sample suffices. But what the Academic Standards Committee would look at is whether they follow higher order teaching format or not, whether they have critical thinking or assessment in the guideline, in the exams. Assessments that promote higher order thinking, classroom control, etc., teaching large classes over 50, and your grade distributions. The grade distributions will come to us from QAC, and therefore, but you can also add your own grading sheets there if you want to. Efforts to improve teaching, advising, student interaction, which counts for 10% of your value. This contains classroom visits, mentoring younger faculty, portfolios, training sessions, participation in learning groups, participate in idea exchange, faculty meetings, updated CV, CPDRs, etc. Scholarly activity, all of these things count. Your research publications in journals, books, chapters in books, working papers, other. Working papers are listed here because you might have submitted a paper, but it is not published, but it's still scholarly activity. Online courses, research supervision, editorship of journals, etc., etc. All these are listed. Service within and outside FCC, committee members, outside the normal required of all faculty. For example, all faculty is part of Board of Studies, and therefore, if you're attending those meetings, that is counted within your requirement. So we need things outside that. Whether you're doing consulting with someone, advising services, active board membership, examiner with other universities, paper setter with other universities, etc. The last one is English proficiency. This, if you have taken VET with in good standing, is not required. But yes, do be careful that we will get information from question 29 of student evaluations, whether or not you are following this in your classroom activity. Now, so much for promotion. You're also going to be filling up annual evaluation. How is annual evaluation portfolio different from what you're doing for promotion? Again, the criteria is the same. Quality of teaching, evidence that knowledge is being updated, research and scholarly activity, service to the institution, contribution to governance, evidence that shows professional development, efforts to improve as teacher and advisor. The rubric for the standards committee is the same in both cases. Now, documentary evidence in support of this, appropriately arranged, if contract renewal is due, covers the last 2 years of duration, or if the contract is, or your period contract renewal is due, but the period is less than 2 years, then only the duration you have served at FCC. In this evaluation, head and dean input about your perception is in these 5 areas is discussed with the faculty. In promotion, it is not. So here you meet the head and the dean, and then you sign off. Now, self-evaluation, professional goals, soft copy, single PDF format goes to the department chair. The department chair sends it to the dean of faculty evaluation, and from there it goes to the vice rector's office. And the vice rector of office then proceeds with the further process it needs to do to give it to the academic standards committee. The submission timelines, January 10th is phase 1 for people who intend to apply for promotion. So by February 10th, your portfolio for application to promotion should reach the office of the vice rector. It should be sent as a PDF file to the intent. Friday 17th, phase 2, application forms are due to chairs, to VRO, and Friday 31st, the chairs and dean send it, etc. All promotion applications or performance invitation have to be submitted in a searchable PDF format. Now, the way to do that is first copy it in Word, give titles, and save that Word file as a PDF file, and it becomes searchable. So that if I click publications, it will take me to the publications page. You don't have to create hyperlinks within the format, but just that it is searchable. Thank you. Now, please, if you have any questions or queries, I'm willing to answer.
You're all requested. Thank you, Dr. Sufyan. You're all requested to please raise your hand so that I can unmute you, or you can type your questions and comments in the chat box. I'll quickly go over to Dr. Shazia's comments regarding for associate professor, please clarify experience requirements applicable for this year. Thanks. Also, HJRS stopped working. I think there are new guidelines on that. Dr. Sufyan?
Yes. Please, Faiza Zahir, kindly unmute her.
Yes. Ma'am Faiza, you were mute. Yes.
Is this fine? Is this
Yes,
fine? Can
ma'am.
you hear me now?
Yes, ma'am, we
All
can.
right.
Yes.
Sorry for the inconvenience. I'm just asking Dr. Saab that when we send the email for intent to apply for promotion to VR office, so we
Yes.
are supposed to just send an email, or do we need to send some document with that as well?
It has to contain the portfolio. Just
Okay.
from the
So you
intent of
mean to
promotion, basically a
uh-huh.
short resume regarding why you basically should
Okay.
contain your portfolio there, but not a detailed portfolio.
All right.
Because at
So
least
it's a kind of a short resume.
it's a short resume which contains
Sorry, please. Okay.
it contains your CV, it contains your list of publications,
Okay. Uh-huh.
and that should suffice.
Okay.
Because the other
All
comments will
right.
come from the
Okay.
chair and the dean.
All right. Okay. So we don't need to CC dean or chair for that,
You
or
do
we just only need to
you
send to vice
because
rector.
you can CC to dean and chair for their information that you're applying.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Saab.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Next we
And
have
one more
ma'am.
thing, Dr. Saab. One more thing.
Sorry.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
Sorry for the interruption. That now HARS is closed. So I was just worried.
HARS is closed, but HEC has given a link which is in the
Yes,
merged
sir.
documents. You can click on that. It takes you to the
Okay.
HER website, and you can
All
look
right.
up the relevant years in which your publication falls. And
Okay.
from that,
All right.
locate
Thank
the
you so much,
ISSN
Dr. Saab.
number
Thank you so
and
much.
paste that in your file.
Moving on, we have ma'am Ambreen Khurshid. Ma'am, over to you.
Unmute, yes.
Assalamu alaikum, sir. I hope you are doing well.
Yes.
Sir, I have a question that few days back we received an email from VR's office, and in that email it was there was a memo in which it was mentioned that for applying to the position of associate professor, the requirement of completing 4 years post PhD is relaxed.
Yes, that
Can
is
you
true.
put some light on this?
I
Like
can
relax
put in
means
it. You see, also had it in my talk when I was mentioning it. For promotion to the rank of associate professor, you need 10 years teaching research experience
okay,
and 10 publications,
okay,
or 5 years post PhD.
mm,
The
okay,
relaxation is that earlier HEC had mentioned that 10 years post research teaching experience, of which 4 have to be post PhD. The
okay,
requirement of 4 years post PhD for a promotion to associate, and 5 years post PhD for professors has been relaxed till March 2025. And therefore, for this promotion cycle, it is relaxed.
okay. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Moving on, we'll go towards Dr. Zamur Dawan. Yes.
Hello, sir. I hope you're well.
Yes, please.
I have 2 to 3 questions. One is related to internationally published articles, or some published in some international, journals. Usually, we have the HEC system with XYZ for
We
the
still have that.
we have XYZ. However, there are some internationally high impact journals which are not in the HEC list, but they are high impact journals.
You see, what you have to do is go to the Web of Science web page, type the journal there, and the Web of Science will say what if it lists in its citation index, it has that journal, it is now recognized.
Okay, one more thing is related to if there is a book publisher. Is it the same goes with the book publisher also?
For book publishers, it has to be a book publisher which is recognized by the HEC. And that is very difficult to find out. Normally, what people do is they send their publication book name to the HEC, which gives it to the committee and then gives you a recognition of whether it is recognized or not. But if it is one of the recognized publishers like Wiley, Springer, or for the social sciences, whatever, they is the ongoing recognized publisher like Routledge, then of course they are recognized.
Okay.
A book chapter.
Okay, thank you. There is another point is you have mentioned about providing the link. Is this the link of that when you click, you reach immediately to the article?
Not necessarily the article. It is the journal we are looking for.
Okay, journal. So the journal link.
The journal link.
Okay.
And the journal link, preferably in the Web of Science. Therefore, we can immediately, the person who is looking at it can see what category it is, W, X, Y, or Z.
Okay, perfect. The last question is related to, as you have mentioned, that there are the phases are different when it comes to the professor and associate professor.
Yes.
So for the professor, usually what the protocol is that you ask the permission for, not permission, but you just share it with your chair and then with your
Like
dean.
I said, once you apply, you are always free to have a meeting with the chair and the dean beforehand to see whether they will forward your application. They have to forward it anyway, but whether they consider your application appropriate or not.
So it will be the same application which will be forwarded by the chair to dean and dean to vice rector. We need that is the intent, and the separate detailed application.
Detailed application has to go. Like I said, when you send a detailed application, there are two applications. One goes directly to the vice rector office, and the second goes to the chair, the dean, and then the dean sends it to the vice rector office.
Okay, so it's almost the same. The protocol is the same.
Protocol is the same.
See it, right. Thank you.
The only change in both protocols is that when you are applying for professor, the requirement is that you send one copy directly to the VR office first.
Okay, first.
But simultaneously. Once you're submitting it to the head, the same copy has to be sent to the vice rector office.
Thank you so much.
And your intent to application is before that.
Sure.
Moving on, we have Dr. Kurtal and Zafar from School of Management. Ma'am, please. You or me? Yes.
Yes, Kurtal.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Sufyan, for your considerable lecture. So I just want to confirm you two things. As you have mentioned, for self-evaluation, for promotion, we have the evidence for the service like consultancy or other commitments we are doing. As for the video workers, we are voluntarily, like we are providing some education to people, at home or something like that. For community service and wider community service, how we will be able to find the evidence? I'm really confused. Sorry for that.
Evidence, basically, if you are doing community service in a recognized institute, they will give a certificate.
Okay. So community service here means only when we are working with a recognized institute.
Yes, of course. Not the institute. It can be any institute. For example, if you're working in the SOS village, that is not HEI, but that counts as community service.
And one more question. For community service, we can work within FCC or
Within
or
FCC
outside FCC? Both?
as well as outside FCC.
Okay.
Both are valid,
Thank you.
because you might
Okay.
be having one local school or local organization where you give some time, and that would be counted as a community service.
Good. Thank you. Thank you.
Dr. Tariq Hamid, you're on mute now.
Thank you, Sufyan sir, for a wonderful session. My question is basically, is there any bar on applying for the promotion that you have to complete that number of years with FCCU?
No. The bar is only that you have under your belt the requirement of HEC.
Okay.
That is, if you have 10 years of experience in HEI,
Okay.
then yes, you can apply. There is no bar that you have worked here for at least 6 years and only then you can apply, or 4 years and then you apply. Currently, we have no bar.
Okay. Okay. Another question is that when it comes to community service, acting on different committees in the department constitute the community service, or it is not?
If they are part and parcel of your requirement, for example, you're member of the board of faculty, that does not count. But if you're advisor to the society, like the leadership forum, yes, that counts.
Okay. Thank you.
Ms. Afaf, if you could please rename your Zoom account as well.
Okay.
You can ask the question first. Yeah.
Okay. Assalamu alaikum. Thank you so much, Dr. Sufyan, for the presentation. Just a tiny detail. While counting the years of experience, just wanted to confirm, do we add experience of as adjunct faculty or not?
You do.
You do.
It is up to the Academic Standards Committee to see whether that is actually acceptable or not, but please do.
Okay. And secondly, do we count the years of our PhD candidacy or not?
PhD is counted in experience if it does not overlap with other experience. For example, if you get your PhD while in service, it counts. But if you have done your PhD before service, then you get 4 years extra.
Okay. Thank you so much.
The time spent in PhD to a maximum of 4 years. If you've done your PhD in 3 years, you get 3 years.
And if I've done in more than 4 years, then I get
then you get
4
just
years.
4 years, or maximum of 4 years.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much.
Dr. Shamaila.
Good afternoon, sir. My question is related to AJRS. What if the publications that we have up till September and they were recognized by AJRS but are no longer recognized by the new system? So would they be included?
They will, if you have evidence that they were recognized earlier, yes, they would be counted.
Thank you so much.
Dr. Sufyan, we'll move towards the chat box now. I'll be sharing what the faculty has to say. Dr. Syed Alamdar Ali Shah says that, well, you have mentioned that FCC is following HEC criteria. The HEC also includes related professional experience, but the criteria explained here do not include related professional experience.
Yes,
how would you comment on that?
If you look at my slide, I can show it again. It includes professional experience in a recognized local or international institution.
Thank you, sir. Moving on.
Waqar Mustafa has raised his hand.
Yeah, Dr. Muhammad Mustafa has also responded to him that, dear Waqar, the updated criteria shared by the VR in the official email. One of the PDFs contain the information how you can rank your publication. It is highlighted in that PDF document as well. The name of the document is Merged Journals Policy and Recognized List 2024. Dr. Sufyan, if you allow, I can share the document here.
Yeah, just share it. I'll share it.
Okay.
Let me see.
Okay. Dr. Shazma Azim is asking, please explain the last slide before thanks slide. I can share the documents, Dr. Sufyan. And
please do.
Dr. Shazma wants to you to explain the last slide.
Okay. Now, this is the shared journals list which I have shared. All journals listed in the Web of Science which appear in these citations are listed as W or X. ESSI, and they are Pakistani journals indicated in Scopus, other than those in Web of Sciences, provided that the journal has 25% international authorship, etc., are X. Pakistani journals Y, Z. Now, this, if you click, will take you to a HEC website, which has all the previous HARS citations arranged year-wise. You can list your citations there. But if we look at it in our document, I have put all the Pakistani journals inside it, which I could find. So they are ranked what journal it is, which category it is, and these are all Pakistani journals. I might have missed a few, but these are from the HEC website.
Over to you, Sir Waqar Mustafa. I've shared the yeah, you're on now.
Thank you so much, sir. This is Dr. Vakar from Department of Pharmacy. I'm sorry I cannot switch on my video because
no problem, no problem.
Speed is very low. So, sir, actually, I'm actually want to discuss with other colleagues also that I have visited that link where that list of all the recognized HEC journals are available. For example, one of that list has around 6,000 odd pages, and I've tried to use like PDF find option, and it didn't work on that file.
It won't work there. Yes, because PDF search looks only for 3,000, and after that it says I can't find it, unless it is on your computer there. Then it can search for larger value.
Okay, so I was trying to ask, so if there is any other way, or if somebody
the other way, I've said in the merge document, I have given a link. It takes you to the HEC website, and you can go to the year you are looking for. Let's say 2021, 2022. Click on that, and it will list the list of journals which are in that HARS document.
Okay.
And that is the only way we can look at it.
Okay, thank you so much.
Now, Dr. Shazma, you were saying which you wanted this?
The last slide before the thank you slide. Slide number 16.
Timeline.
Yeah. Slide number 16. Yes, this one, sir.
Yes, Dr. Shazma. What is the question she asked?
She says just explain the last slide again.
Submission timelines. January 10th, phase 1. The person who's applying for promotion has to let the VRO office a small CV, the resume, and their intent to apply. That doesn't mean anything. Of course, it allows the VR office to prepare their different portfolios for sharing and for other documentation. Phase 2, 17th, the application forms are due with the chairs. Now, the other 2 steps are for the chairs and deans. Faculty is not concerned with that. So chairs forward their recommendations, yes, no, why not, why yes, why no, and their check boxes plus their own comments to the dean. The dean looks at them and passes it on to the vice rector's office with their observations. Dr. Shazma, did it answer your question?
Moving on, we'll go towards Sir Abdul Jalil. He says that is only one evaluation document needed both for promotion and self-evaluation?
No, self-evaluation uses the self-evaluation form, and promotion is a separate document. You do not use any set form. You have to apply as if you're applying for a new position.
Dr. Nazir Shahid asked that if a journal was an HGRS system when the article was published and is no more in HEC's recognized journal list, would that publication from the journal be counted towards promotion?
Yes, it would be counted, provided documentary evidence is provided, a snapshot of that HGRS list is provided. And HGRS lists are available on the link I have provided.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Sir Hafiz Rizwan Ahmed asked for promotion. How many years of community service record need to be provided?
As much as he can, because the more he does, but technically we want it for the last 2 years at least.
Okay. Moving on, we have Dr. Sadia Sumbal asking for professor, it is 15 years total experience or 18 years post PhD, or both conditions apply.
15 years of total experience or 8 years post PhD. It can be either or.
Okay.
The relaxation has been given that you had 15 years total experience, of which 5 years mandatory post PhD. The mandatory portion has been relaxed till March 25. So if you have 15 years experience, or if you have 8 years post PhD experience, you qualify for professor.
Okay, so next we have Mr. Ammar Yasser. He says, if we have a book chapter published by the Routledge, what is the HEC criteria for its recognition? I mean, in terms of its equivalence.
It's in terms of equivalence on the quality of the paper, it can be counted either as 1 or 2 publications. But that HEC requirement is ambiguous because it doesn't mention if you have 4 book chapters, are they going to be counted a maximum of 2 publications, or for each book you are going to look at 2 publications. So technically I would go by a rough that 1 new publication is counted.
Dr. Mustafa asked that if a person wants to apply for associate and professor at the same time, would
You
he
can
or she
apply
be
for only
submitting
1.
2 separate applications?
You can apply for only 1 qualification.
Okay.
You cannot go from assistant professor directly to professor. You can, if you qualify for professor, please apply for professor. If your dean and the chair think that you should apply for associate first, please apply for associate.
Okay, and a similar question from Dr. Nisar as well, that is there a requirement to spend at least 3 years in the previous rank before applying for professor rank?
No such requirement exists till at present, even though it has been debated.
Dr. Saad Salim asked that for associate professors, how many papers should be published in the journal out of the 10 papers? Publication requirement for promotion for associate professor, and is there any weightage for conference publications? What if a person does not have?
Unless it is a IEEE or other HEC recognized conferences, the conference papers are not counted.
Dr. Adil asked that how much importance is given to the professional experience. We have shed some light on it, like in media and communication and journalism.
They can cite it, and it's up to the academic standards committee to decide. I can't comment on that.
Okay. Miss Afaf, I've unmuted you. You can please ask.
Sir, you just mentioned HEC recognized conferences. Can you elaborate on that? Where do we get a list of that?
has a list of when it was HJRS, HEC said IEEE conferences were recognized.
Yes.
And those conferences which are recognized by the respective councils, like NACTA, business, if you have recognized conferences there, they would be counted. But publications and conference proceedings are normally not counted.
But that list has to be taken from our which platform? Sorry. For instance,
basically your council, your dean or your head should know which platform, because they are the experts.
Okay.
Dr. Shazma, over to you.
Thank you, everyone, and good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon,
Thank you.
Dr. Shazma.
Thank you, Dr. Sufyan. You explained very well. It was an informative session. Actually, the last question was to explain the last slide. That was in the last slide, you explained us that if we write over there the journals, you are going to click and it goes to that site. I was unable to understand it.
Yes,
how
basically
it works.
when you
That
go
was my
to
question.
the Web of Science website and then write the name of the journal there and see whether it is available in the Web of Science or not. You have to go to the Web of Science. You just go to the Web of Science website.
Dr. Shazma, are you with us?
I think she's clicking on different. She's muted herself.
No, I'm here, but you have muted me from that side. Okay, again and again. Thank you, sir. It was good, but the thing is, for example, if we write a teaching experience or something, and we are going to send you the portfolio by email.
By email, yes.
And
no
do we
hard
have
copies.
and hard copies as well?
No hard copies.
No hard copies.
No hard
Thank
copies
you.
unless asked.
Thank you. So nice of you. Thank you.
Before we move towards the next question and answer session, I'll quickly launch the polling, and meanwhile, you're all requested to please respond to that as well. Moving on, we have a question from Ms. Abida Qureshi. My book is published by Routledge. How many articles would it be considered?
Currently, I would say one, but it depends upon the standards committee, how they look at it. The rule of thumb is one.
Do we have any more? Yes. Hafiz is one. Ahmed is asking, should we also provide the list of publications not listed by HEC or WOS or conference papers?
For evaluation, yes. For even in your promotion case, you should provide it because it just gives added, but it does not, you have to cross the minimum threshold for HEC recognized journals. And because, let us say I write 20 publications, of which 12 are recognized by HEC, yes, perfectly all right, because you have crossed the 10 threshold for associate. The other 8 just add to your scholarly activity.
Thank you so much, Dr. Sufyan. Dr. Ruxana, would you like to add something?
Oh my God, this is the first webinar of the year where people haven't left in between the session. It could be any reason, a holiday and people have time sitting at home, or it's just that they are very, very clued on to their promotions, which is, again, a very good sign. We at CLT encourage professional development and growth, and I see lots of our competent faculty are trying to keep within that the ladder of rising upwards. I wish you all the best, and I know that each one of you is trying your best to give your best to this campus. This is the last session of the year. I'm very thankful to Sufyan. He usually is our first speaker and the last speaker. He'll start the session, I think, with course designing for new faculty, and especially thankful to him. He's always there. But I wish you all the best for a great holiday, a great new year. And as Gohar has said, we'll be sending you your CPDRs to your chairpersons. Please be very careful what you submit to your chairperson as non-CLT CPD hours. Those we do not have, and they all will count towards your requirement of 36 hours of professional development for your performance evaluation. We will send you the CLTRs, but please work with your chair to add your non-CLTRs to make up for that number of showing of those CPD hours. And so there's no confusion. We will share this information on the email as well. If there's anything else we can do, please let us know. We look forward to seeing you in the coming year. And we're always very thankful for your support. Goodbye.
Dr. Roxana,
Dr.
sorry,
Aisha has
before we conclude,
Aisha
we
has
have a question. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Before we conclude, Sir Ambar bin Abad is asking that he's having a bad internet connection. He's asking, could you please find out the equivalence of a written book with the articles for the promotion from Sufyan sir? Or if you know, so he's asking about the equivalence of
basically,
a
I
written
have
book.
stated that if they are international publishers, yes, it is a written book is counted as one publication.
Sorry, say that again, Sufyan, that's a book chapter?
A book chapter or a book written is currently counted as one publication. But
really? Because recently HEC, I think, did not consider...
no, it is always considered. But HEC said that please send us the book and we'll send it to a committee and they will equate it.
Oh, excellent. I think that's great news for many of you who write book chapters. So
and
that's
in fact, there is a list prepared by the Dean's Committee, which has said that these are the books we are going to recognize.
Okay, great.
Dr. Aisha wanted to ask something. Dr. Aisha?
So I have a question that as I'm working as a guardian in Hope Tower from past 9 years.
Any work which you do outside academia is community service.
So because sometimes it is said that what you are doing inside the department, just the part of the committees, it has been given more leverage.
Working as a guardian of Hope Tower is outside the department.
Okay, so it means there is no preference that if you're working in the department and outside, because it happens that sometimes people are working more in the department and some who are working more outside in the department, but both are doing community services.
That's up to the Academic Standards Committee to decide to give weightage to which more, but both are counted.
We'll move towards the last question by Dr. Nazir Shahid. 10 years experience for associate professor promotion should be from university or it could be college experience?
If it's a graduate college, yes, it is counted. For a non-graduate, for example, if you worked in government college does not differentiate between university and college. Same is the case with FC College. If you worked in the college section of the FCC, we would know it, but for outside people, they count it. And sometimes that is also accepted because you are going to say, I worked in FC College from this year to this year. Does that answer your question, Dr. Nazish?
No. Would you repeat? I would like to hear it again, Sufyan.
See, 10 years for 10 years experience, the experience has to be in a recognized higher education institute or a professional experience in a recognized institute.
Okay.
Dr. Nazish.
For example, if you work in Nestle, that is a recognized institute. Now, in what capacity you have worked is what the Academic Standards Committee is going to look at. If you are saying that I worked in FC College for 15 years, 5 in the college and 10 years in the university, the Academic Standards Committee is going to see whether to count that as weightage or not.
Sir, my question was that from out of 10 years experience, if someone has worked for 2 years in the college side of FCC and 8 years in university side, so would
technically the person qualifies, but it is up to the Academic Standards Committee to see whether to count that or not.
So that person would be eligible.
Would be eligible, yes.
To apply for promotion. Okay.
To apply for promotion.
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay.
So what you are saying is that
FC College is a recognized institution. So if you have worked before 2005, that is not going to be counted. but after 2005, it is going to be counted.
Oh, that's another caveat.
Yes.
So you were saying that if somebody comes from any other Punjab or a government college,
Punjab University or government college, the experience is going to be counted. But the
no,
experience
there are
has,
many.
see, there are many experiences there. However, if you have worked there as a laboratory assistant, that is not going to be counted.
Yeah, exactly.
Even though it is a Punjab University or in government college.
No,
it is not a relevant experience.
Sufyan, many people come from ordinary colleges.
Ordinary colleges are not counted. The
not counted.
caveat is they have to be postgraduate colleges.
Yeah. Okay.
They have to be teaching postgraduate classes.
Okay.
So it is up to the Academic Standards Committee to view the experience certificate and make a judgment call.
Okay, great. We don't
For example, people from psychology work in different reference places, but in what capacity have they worked there? Have they worked there as a front desk worker or have they worked as a clinical psychologist? Is what is counted.
Okay. I think that satisfies a lot of questions. We don't see any more.
And another one thing clear is, it should be clear that they have to meet every qualification and publication by the cutoff date, which is 31st of December. Not that I have 11 years, 11 months and 22 days. Sorry, that is not counted as complete. So it is not academic years. It is the completed years.
Yeah. And Alamdar now wants to know, what do you mean by relevant experience? Aren't people picky about your
The relevant experience basically is what is relevant to your field. If you're working in the business department, working in the banking sector is perfectly all right. If you are coming for economics, a banking sector is, but in the banking sector, you're working as what?
Yeah.
If you're working as a front desk teller or cashier, that is not a relevant experience.
Yeah, true.
That is up to the committee to decide.
Yeah, but you are not eligible, I think, to apply with that sort of experience. That's number one criteria. The number two will be what Academic Standard Committee decides at that time, seeing a wide portfolio of people. So there are two different things. Your eligibility, I think, is more required.
The eligibility to apply, you can ask your head of department whether you're eligible or not.
Yes. Yeah, I think that would be a fair point. The chair would be the most
chair, or perhaps the dean would be the most appropriate people.
Absolutely, I think that's would be sensible. Anything else? I see Mustafa.
And please, one thing other is, meeting eligibility does not mean you'll get promoted.
Yeah. Tariq is very pensive. Tariq, cheer up. There's always another Tariq Hamid. And so we see people planning.
Do we have any questions?
No, sir, no questions. All good.
So, lovely to see you all. There are 39 of us left now, and thank you so much. Good to see you at the end of the year, and we'll see you again very soon. Okay, Khuda Hafiz. Goodbye.